In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to get mentally locked in and prepared to go into 2025 and accomplish your best body, whether that be dropping 30 pounds, 50, 100 pounds, getting rid of the stomach, or just improving your health. You may have some health issues or concerns that you're dealing with right now, and you want to improve those things. And so, these are going to be some things that I've been thinking about for myself as well. And so you'll be able to get some perspective, my perspective around things, around, what I'm going to be doing with my life. You know what I'm saying? And so the first thing that jumps out right away is some people are going to be thinking, damn, here go another year, man. Should I even be trying to set New Year's goals? Should I be trying to do these things? And you should. Regardless if you failed in the past and, you got started, it may have been 2023, 2024. You're like, damn, I tried to accomplish my fitness goals, but it didn't happen. So why should I try this year? Well, the reason you should try is because you still had the opportunity. Like, some people don't have the opportunity anymore. I know I've lost people that I've cared about over this past year, and they're not here anymore. Maybe you have too, but we're still here for a reason. And so God blessed us with this opportunity, so you want to utilize it, right? And be grateful that you had the opportunity. And so that part of it, right? We had the opportunity. But the other side of it is procrastination. I see a lot of times, definitely around this time of the year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, people want to just wait. They want to take a hiatus. The people who were working out, they were eating right, they don't even want to do it no more. They just get the efforts. And then they say, well, I'll get started in the new year. That's no good. The reason that's no good is because what tends to happen throughout that period of time, you break and lose the habits that you built. And one thing that I think about a lot is always keeping momentum in my life, right? By, doing the habits that got me the results. That way I can keep the results. And if you ever had a workout routine and you were really consistent, and then maybe a week went by because you got busy with work, or a month went by because you got busy with work, and then you fell off. Do you remember how hard it was to get back into that rhythm and routine? Like, it's not that you can't, but it's like, damn, now I gotta get up out of bed. Now I gotta get back into the rhythm and routine of eating these things, to go to the gym. Now I gotta drive to the gym. It's a lot, man. It's like a train. When you see them trains, we don't really see trains like that no more these days, but how trains, they would start out really slow. Then once they get going, the motherfuckers going fast, right? It's kind of how building habits and routines are, building lifestyles. It starts off slow. And that slow part is the soreness. Being tired from being in a calorie deficit. You know what I'm saying? Like, these types of things. And so it's like, I don't want to lose momentum. But a lot of times when people procrastinate, one reason they procrastinate is not just because of excuses. Some people procrastinate because of a lack of clarity. There's so many things you could be doing. We see it all over social media, all over YouTube. You see folks, hey, do the keto diet, do this supplement, try this workout style right here. And guys, I feel for you. Because I remember when I first started this whole fitness thing and trying to get in shape, man, I didn't know who to believe and what was right, what was wrong. And so I was just overwhelmed. And that overwhelm can also cause procrastination, because you lack clarity on what steps you need to take. Like for me, when I was early on, when I was still at Georgia State University studying for exercise science and nutrition, I found myself going to the gym a lot. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, man, like, am I wasting my time doing this? I know I'm like doing bicep curls and tricep extensions and things like that, but it was just this little thought in the back of my head, like, am I wasting my time? You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's important that you have clarity. And so I've had different times in my life where I've lacked clarity, and I believe we all do at times. And maybe that's where you are right now. You're like, man, I want to go into the new year and really get some results with my body and my health, but I don't really know exactly what I need to do. So you may be lacking motivation because of that, right? Because of that lack of clarity. And so you procrastinate. What you want to do is break it down. This has been like one of my biggest life skills, like something that's helped me in life greatly, because things can be complicated because of all the information that's out there, but I take pride in simplifying my life. All right? I'm somewhat of a minimalist, and when it comes to breaking it down, you want to think about what are the habits and what are the routines that are gonna drive results. Not all the coulds, all the things you could be doing. What are the non-negotiables that are required to lean out and drop weight? What are the non-negotiables that are required for you to improve your health and have energy? I want to give you a couple of these things so that way you can start thinking about these things going into the new year. Your sleep routine. Sleep is very important. You can talk to a fifth grader, they understand sleep is important. It don't take a rocket scientist to know if you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to be stressed. You're going to be tired. You're going to have a lot of food cravings. You see what I'm saying? So you need to be getting 7-8 hours of sleep a night, man. All right. And if you, let's say you're only getting like 5 or 6, you need to find time throughout the day somewhere to get a pocket of time where you can get some sleep, because it's very important. Not just for fat loss and building muscle, but also just overall wellness and health, man. Water. I see a whole lot of folks, I love my sweet teas. I love my lemonades. I love my sodas. That is cool. You don't have to give it up, but you need to keep it to a minimum. Because if you don't, man, it's way easier to drink your calories than to eat them. That's why you see folks that gain 50 pounds in a year, 70 pounds in a year, sometimes even 100 pounds in a year. I seen a young lady on Instagram a couple of months back. She said she gained over 100 pounds, and she showed us how she gained it. And a lot of it was from drinking the calories. You see what I'm saying? And so start thinking about that. Start thinking about how much you're eating. And this is why I always talk about, if you're not tracking, you're slacking. You need to be using an app like MyFitnessPal, so that way you're aware of how much you're eating. I've had like hundreds of guys DM me on Instagram, and I'm having conversations with y'all, and you're like, man, I'm eating healthy, but I don't know why the weight ain't coming off. I feel like I'm doing everything right. Well, the reason why is because just eating healthy doesn't mean you're eating for fat loss. You're eating just for health. And in reality, if you're eating an excess amount of healthy food and you gain 30, 50, 100 pounds, I don't think having that much weight on you is healthy. Because it's going to be more stress on your body. This is how people start getting high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, the sleep apnea, heart disease. That weight is very stressful on our body. That's why it's very important that you understand how much you're eating. So that needs to be a part of your habits and routines. Tracking how much are you eating, measuring your food before you eat it. All right. And then using the 80-20 rule. This is one other habit I want to give you guys. Like the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you eat healthy and clean. Then the other 20%, man, you eat whatever you want. Like I don't shy away from telling folks, even though I'm the coach, I'm your trainer and all that stuff. I don't stray away from saying, hey, I eat Waffle House once every other week. I don't shy away from it, because I'm still going to enjoy myself just like you guys like to enjoy yourself. But the thought process that I have now, as of the past couple of years, especially once I hit my 30s, I'm 34 years old now, but I don't just eat based on pleasure. There's certain meals where I do, but I eat based on value the majority of the time. 80% to 90% of the time, I eat based on value. Am I eating these foods, and is it going to give me energy, or is it going to steal energy from me? Is it going to make me feel fluffy and bloated and have brain fog, or is it going to keep me feeling mentally sharp, keep me feeling lean, keep me feeling tight? You know what I'm saying? Very important. We all human, man. We all going through the same different emotions and feelings inside our body. Some people are just a little bit more aware of it, and we say to ourselves, I don't like feeling like that. Other people, they just keep doing it, and they like sweep it up underneath the rug. It's kind of like how folks, they might have, let's say for example, you got a trash can, you got trash in your trash can in your kitchen, and you need to take that trash out. You do, but you just like, it ain't that bad. Let me just spray something on it. Let me just spray a little Febreze in the kitchen. Let me clean around. Let me mop up the floors. You're not solving the main problem. You got to solve the main problem. All right, and pains and problems are a gift from God, so that way we can recognize what areas we need to improve in life. If you notice you feel self-conscious about your body when you go out and you're hanging with your friends and going to these events and meetups for the holidays, hey, that's a pain. It's a pain that's telling you, hey man, you need to go ahead and lose some weight, so you're not feeling this way when you out socially with your friends or family or whoever. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure and brain fog. Those are pains. Our body is telling us, look, I want you to be aware of this. Let's fix this. And so we don't have to keep living like this. And so that things don't get worse. Okay? So break it down. That's the first thing. Break it down. Understand what habits and routines you need to have. And then we all are dealing with different problems and pains in our life. And so, those pains allow us to kind of like be like, okay, well, let me start focusing on this right now. Let me make this a priority. Then you move to the next pain or problem. Let me focus on this. Then you move to the next thing. All right. That's how you get a little bit more clarity. So that way you're not feeling overwhelmed and you just procrastinate. Okay. That's the first thing. Second thing is your why. Guys, it's very important. Like I hear a lot of, I've done a lot of personal development. I've looked at the Tony Robbins, the Jim Rohns, the Eric Thomas, all these guys. And, they all talk about goal setting, which is important because we got to have a target on what we're working towards, right? But what's even more important that's going to keep us going when that motivation wears off, because a lot of people think, oh, if I'm not motivated to go to the gym, I'm not going to go. Well, you're never going to be successful at anything if you're waiting until you get motivation, because it's fleeting. It comes and goes, all right? And so what you want to do is you want to understand why is it important for you to accomplish that goal. So let's say, for example, you want to drop 50 pounds. Well, why for? Is it because you want to be a better role model and positive example for your family and kids? Is it because you want to get off that high blood pressure and type 2 diabetic medication, and so you're not stressing and worrying? You're not having to go into doctor's visits. You're not having to take all those medications and things like that. You know what I'm saying? That stress, that worry, man, that's real, man. It takes away the joy from life. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say you just want to be able to pull your shirt off and feel proud about how you look. You want to be able to go to the beach or the pool and pull your shirt off and feel like that guy, versus having to keep your shirt on because you feel self-conscious about people looking at you because you got man boobs and belly fat. You know what I'm saying? And so understand why it's important to you. And you notice how I say these things, and it's like everyone's situation is going to be different. Some of y'all, you may not have kids right now, so that part may not resonate with you. I've had clients where one of their big motivations and the reasons why they want to drop that weight is because I've never even thought about this, but there's certain people when you have a certain amount of weight on you get on the plane, they have to give you a belt extender, because some people are too heavy to just use the regular belt when they get on the plane, which can be very embarrassing. And so these things, in a way, they cause some emotional conflict, some emotional pain. And so pain can drive you. Pain can be that motivation. All right, don't worry about it's not always hunky-dory, the sunshines and roses that are gonna motivate you. No, sometimes it's the things that we want to get away from. Like I remember when I first got into doing the whole fitness coaching thing, I wasn't worried about making 6-7 figures. My whole thing was, I just don't want to be broke. So that was my motivation getting up, like just being straight up. I didn't want to be broke no more. And so I wanted to work as hard as I could, even when I wasn't motivated. I didn't care. I just didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to have to move back in with my mom or my dad. And so you can use that negative energy, that dark energy, and even going further into dark energy, think about I call it like a pain list, right? Whether it be somebody broke up with you, or you had a bad breakup. Maybe you have people who hating on you. Maybe you have people who doubted you, who shamed you. I remember when I started doing online coaching, and I was doing personal training in person for about 10, 11 years. And when I started really trying to get into the online space, there were trainers at the gym that were kind of like, in a way, they'll throw a little shade. Hey, how that little online thing going? You still doing it? You still trying to do it? You know what I'm saying? I have friends or family members, even my dad, man. He was like, man, when you go get you a real job? And so that was like I made a pain list of all these things. And so that way I could prove them wrong. Like those things drove me. It didn't make me back up into a little corner and cry like a little bitch. Hell no. I was like, man, I'm about to show them. I'm about to prove them wrong. All right. And in a way, that's like having a little bit of competitive nature to you, man. Like I hate it for certain people who didn't grow up playing any type of sports, because I know everybody didn't grow up and have that opportunity. But having that competitive nature, like one of my favorite athletes of all time is Michael Jordan. And if I don't get anything else from him, he was a competitor. Like he wanted not just compete and beat everybody else and strike fear and get respect from everybody amongst him, but he was competing with his past self, the past games. You know what I'm saying? When he shot the shot, didn't make the game winning shot, he wanted to one up himself. The next game, he wanted to be better. So think about that. What did you do this year? What did you do the year before? How are you gonna one up yourself? It's you versus you, man. Don't be worried about everybody else. You competing against you. All right. So that's why I always tell my clients, run your own race. Cause we got this community called the Lions Den, and you'll see people who they didn't drop 30 pounds in 3 months. They didn't drop 35 pounds in 3 months. But then you have other clients, they may have just dropped 15 to 20, maybe 25. Some people feel bad about that because they're looking at other people's success. Run your own race, man. All right, run your own race. That's the second thing. Understand what your why is, and then the last thing. This is something that I'm thinking about is committing to go pro. Committing to going pro, man. Going into 2025, if you want to make this 2025 a better year than this was, or you want to continue to build on 2024, which is something that I've been thinking about because I've had major growth and success in my life. Just staying prayed up, man, and having that faith and putting in the work to get to this point. But going pro means to me not just being consistent. A lot of people can't even really just get any type of success because they're not being consistent. But there's levels to this shit, man. Like once you get to the point where you're consistent, you'll get to a certain point where you'll see certain results. You may drop 5 or 10 pounds or maybe 15 pounds, but then you go be like, man, I want my body to look a little bit better. I want to have some abs. I want to be a little bit more toned. I want to be really, really proud when I take my shirt off versus just kind of like, it don't look as bad, but I'm not where I want to be at. You don't want to be like that, right? You got to go pro. And that requires not just being consistent, but everything that you do, you have to be effective. You have to make it count, all right? So when you're going to the gym, are you just lifting the same weights you've been lifting for the past months, if not years? Or are you challenging yourself with new, heavier weight? Or with a slower pace when you're lifting the weight, so that way you can continue to increase the intensity, right? Let's say your cardio, you've been doing the same cardio, it's comfortable. You're in your comfort zone. Guys, we don't grow in our comfort zone. You want to go pro in 2025, it ain't gonna be from your comfort zone. You're gonna have to do things that get you outside of your comfort zone, because that's when we build our character. And it's not just material things that we start to accomplish, right? It's like you start to understand how to be grateful. You understand how to be mentally and emotionally resilient, physically resilient, right? Discipline. Like we develop that discipline and all these other character traits, success character traits from adversity. And we could put ourselves through voluntary adversity, like hitting the weights, challenging ourselves when we hitting the weights. It's nothing like walking up out the gym and you know you done did something when you hit the gym. You know you done really put in some work. You know you sweating. You know your muscles swole. They're going to be a little sore the next day. You know what I'm saying? Versus the person who just walked out the gym and they barely did any damn thing. Just did a little bit of bench press, did some curls, walked on the treadmill a little bit. Man, there ain't no sense of accomplishment in that. You ain't going to see much success from that. But if you know you went to the gym and you made that shit count, you go walk up out of there with your chest high. You go be able to talk with a different type of confidence. You see what I'm saying? You go walk with a different level of confidence, talk with a different level of charisma, because you know you showing up and making that shit count, right? Same thing with your nutrition. Are you just eating quote unquote healthy right now, or are you measuring your food? Are you tracking how much you're eating? Are you aware of how often you're eating more healthy, fibrous foods versus junk food, alcohol, things that are stealing value from you, aka your energy, your confidence, right? You gaining weight, that's more stress. More stress, especially if it's fat weight, man. Like we ain't getting no younger. And so you need to be eating healthy, fibrous food, colorful food, not just drinking sweet tea, sodas, and lemonade, and eating based on pleasure without having any discipline. You gotta have discipline, man. Alright? Show me a man that don't have no discipline or a woman that don't have no discipline, I'll show you somebody who's having a hard time in life. And if they're not having a hard time in life at that moment, it's gonna get worse. Because life has a way of giving us consequences in the long run because of our lack of discipline in the short term. Alright? And so have a plan. Have a plan on what you're doing. And so when you hit in the gym, you know what you're doing when you hit the gym. That's going pro. Players ain't just out on, when you look at football and basketball, they're not just out there on the court in the football field just running around without any structure. They got a plan. They know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Same thing for us. We want to look a certain way. We want to feel good. We want our clothes to fit the way we want them to on our body. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a suit or a tank top, no shirt at all, you want to look a certain way. You want to feel good. I know at this point in my life, it's not just about aesthetics. I want to feel good on a daily basis. When I wake up, I want to eat breakfast, or even if I don't eat breakfast, let's say I fast. I want to have mental clarity. I want to have routines and habits that put me into a high vibration state. That way I can go through each day where I feel like I've accomplished something. Versus looking back at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I ain't getting nothing done today. Like, that can make a person lose motivation. That can make a person fall into a depression because it's like, you're not accomplishing anything. You're not stacking wins. You got to make this shit count. Basically, you got to have a plan to execute on to get wins, which are your habits, your routines. All right? But these are things I'm thinking about going into 2025. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, leave your boy subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet, and if there's other topics you want to hear me talk about, man, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below, and I'll share more about them. All right, yeah.